Assalamu alaikum. Today I will be showing you why you should play Power Grid. Power Grid is an economic game where you are providing electricity to different cities. Now, a few weeks ago, I reviewed a game called Concordia. It was an economic game, but one of the things I told about it, Concordia was, for example, that yes, it is a very famous game, but it is not one of my favorite economic games. Here is the biggest contender which blows Concordia out of the water and many other economic games out of the water because of all the things that it features. So let me take you through what you are going to be doing in this game, and then you will be able to know that why I prefer this over all the other economic games that I own or I have seen. Do understand that, like always, I will not be going through each and every rule in the game because there is a lot of things that you need to take care in this game. But I will be giving you a quick overview and telling you why I like it and why you should be playing it as well. So let's deep dive into Power Grid and provide some electricity. Okay, now this game revolves around setting up power plants, buying contracts to provide electricity to different cities, and running your power plants using some of the fuels that are available. The interesting thing about these fuels that are available is that their cost changes as you play the game. So if someone is setting up more coal power plants, then he will be using more coal. So the more coal you use, the higher its cost is going to increase. And if someone is, let's say, uranium is very costly, but nobody is setting up nuclear power plants, then slowly the price of uranium is going to decrease as well. So it becomes more cheaper to buy it. So there is a very fine balance that you have to take care of when playing this game. How your turn actually goes is in each round is actually of 5 phases. The first phase is determining the turn order. So as you progress in the game, you will be having more contracts which are represented by putting down these houses of your color on the cities to identify that you have claimed a contract in that city to provide electricity there. So for example, if I have more contracts than my competitor, then I will be the first on the turn order, and the player who has lesser than me goes second. So this top part of the game board is actually to track who has more, and then you can place your one of your houses there to indicate that who is going in the turn order first. So this determines the turn order. Once the turn order is determined, then there is an open market available for the power plants. These are normally set up in 2 rows. The top row is what's available for the bidding. So there is an auction phase in the game where you're going to bid for a certain power plant, and all the other, you are not just being the first player does not mean that you get to just take it. You are going to pay for that using any costs you want, but the other players have a right as well to bid higher for it. So we can see the cost of these here available in the different phases of the game. Different kind of power plants come out, and how these get rotated varies from in the 3 phases of the game as well. We will not go into those details, those you can find in the rule book, but do understand that as you buy, the below row will always tell you that what upcoming power plants are going to come. So you can plan out ahead a little bit in time, and you also will understand the rules that some of these power plants will get removed automatically. Even if nobody is buying, they will get removed automatically, so that newer and newer power plants which are more fruitful, which are more better for you, those keep coming up. So the initial power plants are very basic. So for example, this power plant, which is the least costly or the most basic power plant, uses 2 oil barrels as a fuel and can only power 1 city. That's its all capability. So you will need to, let's say if I get this power plant in my tableau, then this is what I'm going to be focused on to provide. So I will be building 1 city, for example. The next turn order, once each player has bid, and took a power plant, or they can skip the whole bidding phase as well, that in this turn I don't want any power plants. Because again, there is a balance, just like for fuel, there is going to be a balance of number of power plants or the power plant capacity to the number of cities you have contracted. For example, if I have a power plant which can, for example, if I had this power plant which actually can supply two cities, provide electricity to two cities, and I have just one city or one contract on the board, then this is not going to be fruitful. That extra electricity, I will still be giving it through coal to produce that much electricity, but that additional electricity is going to go to waste. So I have to be manage that as well. Sometimes it's better because I'm planning ahead for the future, that maybe in the next term I will get a contract for a different city, but I will not buy a power plant. So planning ahead is good as well. So a lot of strategy options that are available to you. But in any case, so the first thing you're going to do, or the second item that you're going to do after turn order, is buying a power plant. Once you have bought a power plant, then the turn order gets reversed. So the worst player who is not performing well gets a chance to go to the market first to buy the fuel. Now this is a very, again, unique mechanic which works to help the players who are leaving behind or being left behind to catch up as well. Because the sooner you go to the fuel market, which is at the bottom side of the board, the sooner you go to the market, the cheaper that resource is going to come to you. So for example, someone investing in coal power plants needs coal, and right now coal is available. There are different boxes given here, and the price of the fuel when it comes to that box is given here. So coal is right now in the box written as cost of 1. So I can buy 1 cube of coal with just $1. I will be starting with some money, so I can just pay $1 to buy 1 coal. If I needed 3 coal, that's $3. But since this has gone from the market, the next player, maybe he had a coal power plant as well. Now he's in the next box. Now the price of the coal has automatically increased, and if he has to buy coal, then he has to pay $2 per coal. So that's 2 3s are $6 to buy these amount of coal for his next power plant. The next phase given on your player aid is the building phase. Building phase is that you are going to build routes to connect to different cities and getting the contracts of providing electricity to those cities. So for example, if I had already somewhere here in Minneapolis, I had my already a contract, and I'm going to expand from there, then I will have to pay the standard contract cost, which is $10 to go to a city. But there are also some routes connecting to these cities, all this jungle of routes you can see, and a cost that's given on that route. So for laying power lines from this city connecting one city to another, because my power plant is in one location, so connecting one city to other is going to cost me as well. Based on that distance, the cost is given. So for example, for connecting Minneapolis to Chicago, I will have to pay $8 for the power line plus $10 for the contract of that city. So that's $18. Instead, if I was going to a different location, a closer location, it will be less costly. Going to a faraway location, maybe like Salt Lake City to Denver, it's $21 just for laying the cables. So you have to pay those from your hand, from your money, back to the bank to lay those power lines, and then you can build cities. That goes in the first proper turn order. So the claim goes to the first contractor first, who can get the contract first. The next is the turn of bureaucracy. That's when you're going to earn money and refill fuel. So how you're going to get money is on the back side of your play rate. The front side has all these steps for as a reminder, and the back side has a helpful note that how many cities did you provide the power to, and accordingly you're going to get that much exponential money. So for providing the power to 0 plants, so for example in the first turn you were still not good, you're still going to get some influx of money so that you can continue in the game. But If I was able to provide electricity to, let's say, two cities, then I'm going to get $33 back. Instead, if I was able to provide to three, it's 44. If it's four, 54. So it's exponentially going up and up. For providing power to 20 cities, it's $150 in one turn that I'm going to get. So this is how you're going to play. The more cities you have, it's going to give you more money per turn. More money means you can buy more fuel, you can buy better power plants. So it's again a chain reaction of events that's going to happen good for you. But that also means that you get to go last when buying the fuel, and the lowest player or the weakest player is going to go first. So that's in a gist of what you're going to be doing in the game. At the end of the round, you will be referring back to the backside of the manual, and there is given that how much new fuel has come in the market based on the three phases in the game. You will be seeing that, okay, how much fuel will get refilled in the market. So for example, the coal market varies, the oil market varies in different phases, and these will get refilled. So the next player may get a chance to get that fuel for a cheaper price, or sometimes for a high price as well, based on how the players are playing the game. Now, I've given you a quick overview of the game. I've not explained all the rules. You will keep building, and whoever has actually built all the cities, then the game ends. Now, I will give you my opinion about the game. As you have seen, each and every action in this game requires thinking, requires you to ponder, do I have enough money? You will be just perplexed by how little you have and what do you want to do. If I get this power plant in this turn, I won't even have enough money left in my hand to buy the fuel to run it. So do I want to invest in this or not? Similarly, this fuel is cheaper. The other player wants that fuel. Should I just get it, even though I'm not going to run this power plant because I already have enough power plants and less cities on the board? But I will still buy that fuel so that he doesn't get to run his power plant with cheaper fuel. So a lot of things that you can mess around in your mind on how to calculate. Your money will always be short. You will always be thinking how to optimize my routes. These routes, if I start building from here, these routes are cheaper. If I initially get the cheaper routes, I can get more money because it's the same amount of cash you're going to get, irrespective of the city was far away or closer. The cash income is based on the number of cities only. So a lot to think about when it comes to the board, when it comes to the fuel management, when it comes to the cash management, when it comes to the power plant management. A lot of good things in this game. Now, for power plants, some of the people have objection that this game doesn't work well with two players, but I have never felt that. I normally play with my wife, and we are just two players, and we have a blast of a time playing this. The main concern is the auction mechanic. That auction mechanic, yes, works well with the more people you have, the more fun you're going to have for auction, because you have more competition of getting outbid for a green energy plant, a windmill that actually requires no fuel at all. So everyone will be trying to grab it. So sometimes you can fake it. You can keep increasing the cost of it, and then say, okay, I'm out of the bidding phase. So the other player had to pay a very high cost to buy this windmill, whereas you went for another power plant which used a consumable resource, but that consumable resource was cheaper. You look at what other power plants are and then accordingly decide which power plant I should invest in. So a lot of good things are still going to happen even with two players, because you are still outbidding each other. You're increasing your costs and then going out of the bid. So it's still a lot of fun when you do that to other player, that let them buy a power plant which they really needed for a very high cost. So it works for two players as well. Again, with more players, the auction, and that auction is the only part which is mainly dependent on two players. The game has very nice rules to keep the huge maps concentrated, because if you're playing based on number of players, there are districts, these color patches you see on the board. These are the different districts in the game, and you can limit the number of districts on which you play based on number of players. So you don't have to change the map or something. You can just decide that okay, based on number of players, we are going to play in the purple, red, and the green district. So the yellow, brown, and the green districts are out of play. You can stop your at that border. So that limits, that accordingly scales the game as well. The how many resources come in scales very good with the number of players as well. A lot of good things in this game. The game board is double-sided as well. On one side you have the USA map, on other side you have the German map. This is a pure German game and one of the best designs in economic games that I have played. So yes, you know my review that it's highly recommended. The bad thing about the game, the horrible game board, the horrible paper money. Now, paper money was good enough for Monopoly, but not gamers games. These are gamers games, the hobbyist games, and we hate paper money. They could have used cardboard chips, they could have used plastic poker chips, whatever, but not paper money. Paper money, this is not Monopoly, so I would have really wished they had used better quality of the money. When it comes to the game board, it's ugly. That I don't know what thought process was going in. The colors they have done in the map, they have then put black splatters over it to make it look ugly. I don't know why. The pipes, the cables are running in flanged pipes. Doesn't make any sense, and they look ugly. They look rusted. I think they have been trying to go for a realistic look, but it's not realistic. It's cartoonish but ugly. So that's the only thing that bad with the game. It was so bad, just to be honest, it was so bad that I didn't want to buy this game. But I bought it because of I thought the gameplay was interesting, and I don't regret my decision because the artwork goes in the background. The gameplay in this game comes on the top, and it will let you forget anything bad with the board. I really still do wish they produce a newer version of this game with a better board, with better money. The cube resources and these things are very good, but they produce better quality of these, and then this game will be attractive for people to see as well. But as it stands now, it's still one of the best economic games there is. You can find a deluxe version, more modern versions of it, but they don't improve that much the game or the quality of these components. But again, you can find those deluxe versions and more upgrades, more expansions, more game boards, more maps. There is a lot of stuff for this game. Highly recommended if you love economic games in any way, and even if you don't, it's because you have never played this game. So go and buy it. Very good game. 9 out of 10. Happy gaming.